Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dave here. Welcome to Holiday for Two. I'm enjoying my morning coffee, and as always, like I say, may your coffee be hot and your day be cool. Ooh, that has a little coconut in it. That just makes it good. Today's video is Arizona's best lake camping. Is the title of the video today, and it actually was inspired by some comments that were left by viewers like you who said, "Hey Dave, why don't you tell us about some camp spots in Arizona that are near lakes?" So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to share 5 camping areas in Arizona that are near lakes. Some really lovely little spots. Some of them are in the mountains, some of them are in the deserts. If you like lake camping and you want to be near the water, this one's for you. Let's go.
I'm hoping I can take a holiday and spend some time with you. Trying hard to take some time away and have a peaceful day or two. So someday when my ship comes in, I know just what we'll do. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two.
Alright, welcome back everybody. Yes, I got the idea for this video from a couple of comments that were left by viewers about wanting to know about lake camping spots in Arizona. And you know, the funny thing is, actually today's kind of a cool day. I'm filming this in May, and the weather is just beautiful today. We're like in the 60s right now for May, so that I'm not complaining. It's a beautiful day, but I know it's going to start getting hot. And some of the places that I'm going to tell you about are in the mountains, so that's great for getting away from the heat. But some of the places that I'm going to share with you are actually in the desert camping areas, and they'll be a little bit warmer. You may want to hit these spots in the winter time, fall, winter, and spring. The first camping area I'm going to share at around 7,000 feet up near Payson, Arizona. It's actually east of Payson on Highway 260, is Woods Canyon Lake. I'm just going to call this Rim Lakes because you've got Woods Canyon Lake, you've got Willow Springs Lake, all within a real close distance of each other. And there are several campgrounds that are all in close proximity of these two lakes. So I'm going to show you on the map what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Woods Canyon Lake. The main campgrounds in Woods Canyon Lake are Aspen Campground, which has about 110 sites. Aspen is the largest campground near Woods Canyon Lake. There's another one that's closer to the lake if you actually want to get closer to the lake to do fishing, and that is called Spillway Campground. All of these campgrounds that I'm going to share with you are great for fishing. Some will allow boating, some allow kayaking, and so on. Woods Canyon Lake, it's a small lake. I think it's about a 10-acre lake, but it's a smaller size lake, but they do have boat rentals there, the fishing boats as well as pontoon boats and kayaks. You can take your own boat and launch it. I don't believe they allow motors though. You can use electric motors, but not gas powered motors. If there's anything that I'm missing on this part of the video, I'll put it on below, or I'll just type it on the screen so you'll see it up here what kind of motors are not allowed. They may not even allow gas motors at all, so I'll make sure to put that on the video for you. But that's Woods Canyon Lake area. They have a little store there where you can go get ice and fishing supplies and basic things that you might forget while you're out camping, like hot dogs, ketchup, mustard, and so on. But they do have a lot of fishing and tackle supplies, as well as the boat rentals there at the general store. Our next spot is Lake Havasu State Park. Lake Havasu State Park is operated by Arizona State Park System. It's near Lake Havasu City on the far west side of the state, near, of course, Lake Havasu. It is rated as one of the top lake campgrounds in Arizona, but keep in mind this is near Lake Havasu, and it's really best to go there during fall, winter, and spring. Summertime can get hot. If you don't mind the heat, there are some sites that are really close to the water. You cannot pull your boat in and leave it overnight, though, just so you know. I did check on that. But you can launch your boat right there at Lake Havasu State Park. There are 54 sites. You can reserve these through the Arizona State Park System. You're close to Lake Havasu City, real close, so if you need supplies, you're close to town, you can run in and get supplies there. There's not a lot of shade at Arizona State Parks there here in Lake Havasu. Not a lot of shade, so you may want to bring your own shade, like Easy Ups and those sorts of things, to bring with you for shade. There are a few shaded spots, but not very many. But this is Lake Havasu State Park near Lake Havasu. Let's go to the next one. The next one on my list is Patagonia State Park, which is south of Tucson and north of Nogales. Patagonia State Park is located on Highway 82, about 16 miles north of Nogales, Arizona, and it is another Arizona State Park campground that is a lake camping area. Now, Tammy and I have been there in the past. It's a beautiful little campground. Click on the link here and you can go to the campground and see more about Patagonia State Park. But I will tell you, it is one of the Arizona State Parks, and I was hesitant to put a couple of these on there, but they are such beautiful campgrounds, I felt I had to put them on here. The reason I'm hesitant is because all of Arizona State Parks have just recently gone through a price increase, and they're all $50 a night. Of course, that's with hookups. They have a dump station. They have a little store on site there at Patagonia, as well as Lake Havasu State Park, the one I talked about just a minute ago. And there are stores nearby, but Patagonia does have its own little store there. They have a dump station, and all the sites, many of the sites have power hookups and shade. There are a few what are called boat-in campsites where you can take your boat on the lake and drive to the campsite and then camp on the lake in your boat. Use your boat as kind of a way to get there. That's what kind of a boat-in campsite means. But they do have a few of those at Patagonia. Crappie, bass, even trout, catfish at Patagonia. Lake Havasu also has a lot of fishing there, like bass and crappie and sunfish and catfish. Patagonia Lake also has about 100 campsites that are available, and you can reserve all of these campsites through the Arizona State Park camping reservation system. Let's go to the next one. This is one that Tammy and I like to go to a lot. It's close to Phoenix metropolitan area. That is Lake Pleasant Park. There's actually two sections to Lake Pleasant Park. You have the section on the west side and the section on the east side. The west side of Lake Pleasant is operated by Maricopa County Park System. They have two campgrounds there. One of them is Roadrunner and the other one is Desert Tortoise Campground. Tammy and I have stayed there and done a video on that, so if possible. I'm limited to 5 links, but I'll try to put as many as I can. I'll put a link up here if available for Lake Pleasant, Roadrunner, and for Desert Tortoise Campground. We've stayed at both of those. The east side of Lake Pleasant is operated by Pleasant Harbor Marina, which is actually owned by the Maricopa Water District. It's operated by that. And it is a private RV park. They have year-round sites there where you can pull your campers in, motorhomes in, and stay year-round. They have rates for long-term rates there, so we did a video on that. I'll put a link up here. Pleasant Harbor RV Resort. They have places where you can camp overnight with power, as well as dry camping areas that you can stay there. They have monthly rates, 3-month rates, those kind of things. So you can check on the website and find out more information on what their long-term rates are there with power. They have a pool. They have a little store, but they're not too far from town. There's a gas station that you can drive to about 4 miles away where they have ice and supplies and things like that, as well as gasoline. So you're pretty close to all the amenities, and they have a way there you can launch your boat. Lake Pleasant is probably one of the largest freshwater lakes near Phoenix area. It has a lot of room for boating and stuff. There's people that take cruisers out and do day trips on their cruisers. There is a actual place there. There's another marina called Scorpion Bay, which is on the west side of the lake, and Pleasant Harbor Marina is on the east side. And they both have boat docks as well as a store and a restaurant there. At the Pleasant Harbor Marina, there's a restaurant where you can go in and get dinner called Dylan's. Some great food there. As well as they even have sunset tours on a big boat that they take out with large groups. It's a lot of fun. Check into that. Let's go to the next one. And finally, our last one is going to be Big Lake, Arizona. I saved this one for last. I've talked about Big Lake before. If possible, I'll put a link up here in the corner so you can click on that. Big Lake is one of the highest areas in Arizona where you can camp. It's around 9,000 feet. And I did have a viewer mention this, and I think I should mention it as well. When you get up to that altitude, you do want to be careful if you have any kind of respiratory conditions that you need to worry about, because the air gets a little thinner at 9,000 feet. It is cooler, especially in the summertime. You can get up there. Very rarely do they have days where they reach 85 and 90. It does happen once in a while. But the thing about being up there at 9,000 feet is it cools down very, very quickly. So as soon as the sun goes down, you're grabbing jackets and long johns and the whole thing. And if a storm comes up, be prepared. It's not unusual in the summertime. If a rainstorm comes up, the temperature can drop 30-40 degrees within an hour. That's not unheard of at Big Lake, because it can get very cold when the clouds come over and the rain comes. But Big Lake has 5 campgrounds that you can reserve through the Recreation.gov website. And I'll be sure to put a link down below for you for that website. Apache trout is one of the largest ones. Then there's rainbow. And those have a dump station at each one. They have water available. One of them even has showers. And I think it's Apache trout has power hookups where you can hook up 30 amp power to your RV. They only have a few of those. You can reserve those ahead of time. And the nice thing about the Recreation.gov campgrounds like that is that you can use your America the Beautiful Pass at Big Lake. The only thing about Big Lake that you really need to know about is it is remote. There is a little gas station at this market there at the general store at Big Lake, but it's usually like a lot higher than anything you would get in town. But if you need gas in an emergency, they do have a little gas pump there at this general store. The closest gas station is you drive into Springerville, which is probably about a 40-minute drive back to Springerville. Or if you're coming from Phoenix, I would get gas in Sholo or the Honda Casino, which is a little past Sholo. It's one of the last gas stations called Honda Casino, where it has a big general store, a gas station right there, and the gas is usually very, very reasonable. It's one of the last places to get gas before you go on into Big Lake if you're coming from Phoenix on the 260. I'll try to make sure I put all this on the video for you. But Big Lake has some great trout fishing there. There's all kinds of spots around the lake. My little tip, if you want some really great fishing at Big Lake, is go to the dam area. I've heard that the dam is really good. I've heard some stories of people telling me they get bigger fish over by the dam, or you can rent a little boat there. They do have boat rentals, and get out in the lake with a little boat and do some really great fishing in the middle of the lake. So that's Big Lake Recreation Area. It's about a 4.5-5 hour drive from Phoenix. So it will take a little bit of longer time to get there. You are remote, so you want to make sure you get all your groceries and gas in either in Sholo or Springerville before you come down the highway into Big Lake. In fact, there are, if you're not looking necessarily for lake camping, there are some other campgrounds that I've talked about that are close to Big Lake, like Wind Campground, which is just up the highway. There's also some boondocking opportunities. I've shared that in other videos around Big Lake. You're not going to be close to the lake as if you stayed in the campground. If you want to get close to the lake and be able to be walking distance to the lake and do some fishing, then those 3 campgrounds are the closest to the lake. That's Brookchar, Grayling, and Cutthroat are the 3 campgrounds that are the closest to Big Lake. And they're also kind of set up for tent camping or small pickup truck trailers. They're not really for big, large motorhomes or fifth wheel trailers. Those campgrounds, from what I remember walking through them, are a lot smaller, and they're better for tent camping, or if you have like a small pickup truck with a camper on the back that you can just pull in that's not very long. They're not really set up for pulling in long trailers or 25-30 foot motorhomes. And so that's the last one on my list, Big Lake, Arizona. Great place to go in the summertime if you want to get away from the heat. Definitely a great place to get away. A couple other spots that I didn't really mention them real quick at the end here. That's Sholo has a campground called Fool's Hollow. It's one of the Arizona State Park campgrounds, so you can find it on the Arizona State Park reservation system. The other one, which is actually on the other side of Big Lake, is called Luna Lake. At the end of this video, I'll share some map information on where you can find some of these things that I'm talking about in the video. So stay tuned at the end of the video if you want some directions for some of them on the maps itself, as well as showing you the links that you can go to for Recreation.gov and Arizona State Parks websites. Hope you enjoy this. I know lake camping's a lot of fun. If you just like to kayak or you just like to hang out and look at the water or maybe do a little fishing, there's some really great spots. You know, typically people don't think of Arizona as being a lake camping state, but surprisingly, we do have a lot of places in Arizona where you can camp near the water. It's not one of the top spots. You know, when you're thinking of camping near lakes, you probably think of like Minnesota or California or even Alaska, right? Or Arkansas. They have a lot of lakes in some of those states. But Arizona does have a lot of opportunities for lake camping. So have some fun. We have different climates as well. Everything from the mountains where it's cold. In the summertime, it's great to get away from the heat, or down in the valleys in the winter when it's nice and pleasant temperatures. Places like Lake Havasu are great, or Lake Pleasant near Phoenix. Have some fun. Hope you enjoy this. Safe travels wherever you're going this time of year, whether it's to the mountains or the valleys. Safe travels. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to ring the little bell on the side and share this. Have a great day. Catch you on the next video. Bye. I love it being 60 degrees in May. Hey, welcome back everyone. It's Dave here, and thank you for rejoining me at the end here. I just thought it would be better to save the maps at the end for those of you that want to find these campgrounds, the ones that I featured in the video. So I'm going to go one by one, starting with Woods Canyon Lake. And also I'll show you how to find Recreation.gov website as well as the Arizona State Parks website. Okay, so there's a lot of information here. I'm going to go kind of fast. So if you need to write down this on a notepad so you can take notes. First, let's start with Woods Canyon Lake area. Sometimes we call this the Rim Lakes. If you're coming up from the valley, from Phoenix, you're going to come up the 87 to the 260 and then come east on the 260. This is the way most folks come. If you're coming from the east side through Show Low, it's the 260, or from Holbrook down the 377 right there, turns into 277. Then you're going to come into Woods Canyon Lake. This whole area has several lakes that are very nice camping areas. This is the best one, I think. But Willow Springs Lake has a little campground just set down here called not Cutthroat. What is it called? Let me zoom in on it. It is Sinkhole. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. But this little campground has a couple first come, first served spots. It's got a bathroom, a vault toilet, fire rings, tables, those kind of things. The nicest camp area is Aspen at Woods Canyon Lake, which is right here. And Aspen has the most campsites available. It's right in this area here. There's a lot of loops. Spillway is closer to the lake. If you want to get into Spillway, there are some really nice little camp areas here, and you're close walking distance. Aspen isn't really too bad. There's another one here. It's a group campground, Woods Canyon Lake Group Campground. And then there's a marina here, a little store at the lake. And let me zoom out. Now, what I said, there was a lot of lakes here in the area. So if this fills up, and if this fills up down here, there's other little campgrounds here. And another little note, the Forest Road 300, that's this road right here that you see. This is now paved all the way to Bear Canyon Lake. So if you take Rim Road, it's not showing up on the map here, is it? There it is. See that where it says Promontory Lookout Tower? Last time Tammy and I were up here, it was paved all the way up to here. So you could take this road around and go right up to Bear Canyon Lake. And they're fixing this up right in here. So it's kind of a nice little area. The news that I received from asking folks was that they plan to pave the 300 all the way over to where it connects up to the 87 over here. That's the plan. I don't know how far they've gotten this year and this last winter, but this is a really nice recreation area along the Rim Lakes. And Woods Canyon Lake is one of the nice ones. There are some other campgrounds in here I've talked about before. Like there's over here, there's one right on the Canyon Point campground, which is right in here. It's not showing up on the map. But there are nice campgrounds along the 260 here. So just keep that in mind. But if you want to get to lakes, that's Wood Canyon's lake. Let's go to the next lake. Havasu State Park Campground, which is right next to Lake Havasu City. Let me zoom in over here. So if you need supplies, you're really close to town. You're on the Arizona side of the border, which is nice because gas is cheaper on this side of the border. Most folks know that if they come here. If you're coming from California, just wait and get gas when you come in through Parker, or when you come down from the north area here. There's a way to come in from the north on this Highway 95. There it is. Interstate 40 comes through. So if you're waiting to get gas and you're coming from California, just get gas when you get over on the Arizona side. It is about $1 cheaper on this side of the border. And so Lake Havasu State Park has 54 campsites. Let me zoom in a little bit so I can kind of show you. You're really close to town. If you need to go in for supplies, it's pretty close. There's a boat launch area. Let me switch this to satellite so I can kind of show you what. This is actually the campground right here. This is the park where you can park your car and launch your boat. This is the actual campground right here, this area. And I think they've expanded it a little bit since this satellite photo was taken. So like you can see right here how close you are to town. You're almost walking distance to a little cafe and some things over here. So there's a Culver's. So if you have bicycles, things like that, hey, it's a nice ride. Best time of year to come here is fall. Say late October, mid to late October, the weather will start to get nice. Actually, if you're going to go in the water, that's the best time to get here is in October, because the temperatures will start to come down and moderate, but the water is still warm. If you come in the springtime, the water will be cooler. The temperatures will be nice, but the water temperature will be cooler because you're just getting through the winter. So a little tip for you, if you want to get in the water and do some swimming, come in October and November because the water temperatures will still be nice, moderate. But again, it's Lake Havasu City, so you just remember summertime, it's going to get hot here. Let's go to the next campground area, making sure I don't miss anything. This is Patagonia Lake State Park. You're going to come from Tucson, you're going to come down the 19. There is a way to cut across here. Some people just come down the 19, then cut through here, and then come up the 82. And then, of course, there's the option from Tucson to come down through Sonoyta and Patagonia, which is a beautiful drive. So either way, you're not going to lose out or miss out on anything. This is a really pretty drive through here. There are things to see in Tubac, Amado Park. There's all these really cool little towns, Green Valley. If you come down through here, through Sonoyta, there's this is wine country. So there's actually some wine tasting places where you can pull in and do some wine tasting. Yeah, it's kind of fun, huh? So Patagonia State Park right there, that's the state park campground. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's not a big lake, so if you're planning to do water skiing, you're going to water ski in this larger area. For the fishermen, you can go up in this area here. I do know there's restriction on motor sizes when you get up into this area, no wake zones. One other restriction that I can think of off the top of my head was with loud exhaust boats. Boats that have loud exhaust. There's a limit to what kind of boats you can put on this lake because they don't want the loud noise. It is a small lake, and so bigger lakes, it's okay. It's more of like a fishing lake, and there's a little area here to do some water skiing. There's boating, camping along some of the shoreline up in here where you can pull your boat in and park overnight. And here's where the campground area is. There's the lakeside market, so you can get supplies. There's where I showed the video of going over the little bridge right there. These sites in here have shade, really nice. They're power hookups. There's a couple closer to the lake right over here. So it's definitely worth checking out. $50 a night. If you're reserving these through the state, whether it's Lake Havasu or Patagonia, you're going to go to the Arizona State Park System. My recommendation is to go here and get yourself an account set up so that you see I got my name over here. I've already got an account. And it kind of makes it nice because then you can get onto this website on your phone, your iPad, or your Galaxy tablet, whatever you use to make reservations. You can get on and look for camping reservations. And of course, there are many parks that are in the Arizona State Park system. Most of them are $50 a night. There are a few exceptions of some that are $25 and $35 a night if they're dry camp areas. So really, without spending time to go through all of them, because there are so many of them, you have Lake Havasu. Catdale Cove is a real nice area. I didn't even mention that one, but so is Buckskin and River Island. Those are all part of the Arizona State Park system, and they're close to water. So do keep those in mind. Let's go to Lake Pleasant. Lake Pleasant Park, or Regional Park as it's called, has two areas that I spoke about in the video. You have the west side of the lake and the east side of the lake. On the west side of the lake, you have Desert Tortoise Campground as well as Roadrunner Campground. We have stayed at both of these. I did videos on these, so if you look for the links that I put in the video, or just type in Roadrunner Campground, it'll pop up on my channel, as well as other channels as well. A lot of folks stay here, so they're really popular. On the east side of the lake is Pleasant Harbor RV Resort, and they have dry camping available. They also have year-round RV hookups. This is the whole RV hookup site here. So there's a lot of folks that spend year-round at Lake Pleasant. Probably they have a boat here docked at the marina, or maybe they just want to stay here for a few months during the winter. Depends. There's a boat launch area at one that's right in here and one that's up here on the other side. So you have like actually three boat launch areas at this area. There's the main boat launch area, which is over here between Roadrunner and Desert Tortoise. It's right there. It says Lake Pleasant 10-lane boat ramp. That's the biggest one. All right. And so if you like to get close to the lake and you really want to get close, the lake levels rise around April. May and June is the highest peak of the year. After Memorial Day, the lake level starts to go down because they use the water for irrigation. And so between between Memorial Day and Labor Day, the lake level will noticeably drop by Labor Day. Labor Day through Halloween and first part of November, it'll stabilize and then slowly start to rise again during the winter. And so if you come here in the winter, the lake levels will be lower. Just keep that in mind. If you come in April and May and June, you're going to be able to camp real close to the water at Desert Tortoise Campground. We like to do that because you can actually pull your boat up overnight right in there and dock it. There are other places along the lake where if you have a boat you want to go out and actually do boating camping, you can do that on this lake as well. Some people come here to fish, and it's a lot of fun. Let's go to the next one, Big Lake. I'm trying to get a lot of information, but I'm going fast, so hey, bear with me. Big Lake is one of the popular summer recreation areas because, number one, it's cool. It's got great fishing, lots of camping. Here's Big Lake right here. It's kind of hard to see it on the map, but let me zoom in. See it? There's Big Lake. But before we get to that, there's Rainbow. That's one of the big campgrounds. Let me zoom out. For those of you who are coming from Phoenix, this is what we do. Tammy and I go through Show Low, and we usually stop in Show Low and get our groceries, and then I get gas. Sometimes I get gas in Show Low and fill up my RV. Sometimes I get gas at Honda. There's a little casino right here that has the cheapest gas in the area. Show Low isn't usually too bad, but you can usually get it a little bit cheaper at Honda. This is the last stop if you're coming from the west side. If you're coming from the east side of town, you're going to come through Eager and Springerville. I don't know why it's not showing. There's Springerville. And then you're going to come, I think on one video I talked about the 261. Don't come down through this way. It's kind of twisty, windy right through here. My recommendation is go all the way over to the 273 and come down. and then you're going to come down that. If you have a small vehicle, and you'll be fine on this road, but if you're pulling a big trailer or a large motorhome pulling a car, I wouldn't recommend this. You could probably do it, but do it real slow because it is twisty and turny right in here. So a little tip for you there. If you're going to come with a big long rig, come down to the 273. There's some nice camping before you even get to Big Lake. I think Wind Campground is like in here. Let me zoom in on Big Lake. And remember I said something about a road that's a shortcut? That's it, Three Forks Road. This road is now all paved all the way over to the 191. And if you take that little shortcut, Three Forks, let's say you spend a few days here in Big Lake and you want to do some more fishing, camping, come over to Alpine and go to Fool's Hollow Lake right here. I'm sorry, not Fool's Hollow. This is Luna Lake. Luna Lake has a little campground right here, and it has all the stuff you need to tackle shop, boat rentals. Really nice little lake. It's about 8,000 feet. There's a campground up here too. So check it out. It was one of those that I mentioned, honorable mentions. Let's go to Big Lake and show you around there. You're going to come down 273, come down this. It says closed in the winter because of the snow, but it should be open. Yeah, April and May, it probably opens up. As long as there's no snow on the road, they'll open it up because people start coming up here to do fishing and things like that. There are 5 campgrounds. There are 3 that are close to the lake. Then you have Rainbow and Apache Trout, which are the larger campgrounds. Apache Trout has the hookups, showers, a dump station right on this as you come into the campground. Rainbow also has a dump station in the front here. There is showers and there's a dump station right here. I don't believe Rainbow had hookups that I can remember, but these you can reserve and get more information on Recreation.gov, as well as use your pass. And the best part of the lake that I've heard too is the dam. I've heard that the dam is really great fishing. Let me see if I can switch to satellite. There's the dam right up there. There is a way to drive over there. You see this little road up here? You can get and park there and get close to the dam. And I've heard people say that the dam is really good fishing over there. And probably because a lot of folks don't go over that far. But you can take a boat. You can get boats at the general store right here. There's the marina. They have a Big Lake Tackle and Supply. They also have a little gas pump right there where you can get gas. They have propane. They have ice. Cash only. Let me stress that again. Cash only. Now, they may have changed it since I was there last, but when I was there last, they don't take credit cards. At least that's what I remember. I always take cash with me to spend at the tackle supply. Because you never know when you might need ice, you might need some mustard or ketchup or barbecue sauce, who knows. You might need to go into and get something at the store there. And they do have they have a lot of stuff there in that little store. Plus the 3 campgrounds, Brookchar, Grayling, and Cutthroat, are all smaller campgrounds that are within walking distance of the lake right here. So you can see that. Just beautiful. There are some areas to boondock if you're interested in dispersed camping. Real quick, I'm going to show you one of my favorites. There's a little road here, Forest Road 249. There are places over on the side over here. If you take that road and keep going down, there's some boondocking sites over here off on this Forest Road, Route 24, right in here. Anytime you're off on one of these forest roads, you can boondock in certain areas. So just be aware of that. This is all, I want to say Apache Sitgreaves, but I could be wrong. But Apache Sitgreaves, if you're on a dispersed or a forest road, you can disperse camp along most of these roads. A really nice area is along this one here, and I'm sure there's no name for this road. Oh, Conklin Ridge Road. I just happen to remember this little road is called Conklin Ridge. There are some places along here where you can pull in and disperse camp. And you'll see them as you come down the road. The road is nice. If you're really adventurous and you got a 4-wheel drive vehicle and you want to get some really pretty camping, come down here to the Black River. The West Fork, East Fork of the Black River. There's the West Fork. And there's some really beautiful little camping areas along there. So My suggestion is get your gas and supplies though before you get here because you are remote. Oh, and one other thing before I leave you, phone service at Big Lake is iffy, very iffy. There's a little rock. This is going to sound funny, but there's a little rock right here that you can stand on. It's like out here in the middle of the. Here's the store at Big Lake, and there's a rock right here, and they painted on the rock, "Stand here for phone service." I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. If you've been there, you know what I mean. And for some reason, if you stand on this little mound, and especially the rock, you get service, and phone service comes in really good right there. And so that kind of answers the question if somebody asks about phone service. They do have phone service, but it is very iffy. There are a few places around here and where you can get phone service. Verizon comes in a little better than T-Mobile. And of course, the higher you are and the higher you stand, the better. There's actually a little thing here called the Big Lake Knoll. And I think it's back here somewhere, but there's the Big Lake Knoll. And it's the highest part of the area here where you can go up to it. I think it's right here actually. And if you stand on top of the Big Lake Knoll, if you drive up this dirt road, it's a very rough road. Don't take it in a car. But if you stand up here, you can get great phone service because you're up higher than almost anywhere except maybe Mount Baldy. So phone service is kind of iffy, but it's a beautiful area. Reminds me a lot of Yellowstone because it's just beautiful. The drive in is really nice. And as you can see, all this area, right? See all this right here? This was all forested many years ago, 20 years, 15, 20 years ago. There was a big fire that came through and burned out a lot of this area. It's just one of those things that happens. We do have to be careful as I close here and saying that if you're up in the mountains this time of the year in the summer, let's see, right now it's May, June, July. This is the driest part of the season. So if you come up here, be careful with your fires. Watch for the fire restrictions. A lot of times they'll announce restrictions on open fires. You can bring those little propane fire pits. If you have a propane barbecue, you can bring that with you and use that. But a lot of times you'll hear restrictions about no open fires. And that's why, because they've had so many fires over the years and so much of the forest has been burned down because of these fires. And so we just have to be careful and watch out for fires and just use some common sense when we go camping and not leave any open fires. If you do have a fire, see a fire that's an open fire and somebody left, douse it with water. Just to help everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you find it helpful. Get out and do some great lake camping. I'm trying to think real fast before I leave. If I missed anything, put it in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for other things in the future, let me know. I'll try to do a video on something in Arizona that maybe I've neglected to cover. Everybody have a great day and safe travels, and be careful out there. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next trip. Bye-bye.